Hey Scott, Rob Bowser. It was a pleasure working with you today. I just want to go through some of the drills that I want you to do at home just so that you've got them. In addition to the video you've got, I just want you to have this as well just to make sure that you kind of were clear on exactly what you're working on. So the first thing, from a solid contact standpoint, from a ball flight standpoint, the way your body pivots kind of from this camera angle is really good how you move through the golf ball, but you definitely need to work on your wrist. So there was a lot of kind of backward shaft lean at impact, which adds off to the golf club, but it also moves the low point of your golf swing too far behind the golf ball. So you're hitting the ground a little early, catching shots thin. Um, and so just to walk through some drills for your wrist. So the first one, kind of you get your hands together and you kind of take that lead wrist and you bow it and you practice just kind of taking your right hand and smacking that left. And I really want you to get the feel of your right wrist being bent back at that point, okay? The other drills you can do are just kind of one hand at a time. So I think that like the back of your left hand equals the club face. And you just practice going back, and then as you get to impact, it's not that I want your wrist still flat. Like that's when I saw you out there and you looked kind of wooden. It's you go back and there's some flow to that wrist, and then it's arched when you come down. So hitting down on a golf ball is that. Hitting up on a golf ball is that. So most people think of like that's hitting down and that's hitting up, and not so much. I mean, that's where you learn to trap it and compress it. You kind of exaggerate without a club. Bowing that wrist, you take your right hand, right palm equals the club face. So my right palm faces the target, and then I just practice having it face the ground. So there's some flow to that wrist. And that right wrist bending back is really the anti-venom for scooping. So people who go and do this drill and don't bend their right wrist back, they tend to have have their wrist forward flexed through impact. So bend your right wrist back, have the palm face the ground. Bend back, face the ground. Then when you grab a club, the way I would really love to see you do it is that the forward swing pretty much stays the same, somewhere in that range. And you just kind of start small. Again, there's some flow to the backswing. Bump it, hold, check the right wrist. Add a little backswing. Check the right wrist. And you're trying to feel like you're flighting it down and like you're popping the ball off the face. You're not throwing the ball off the face or lifting the ball off the face. You're popping the ball off of the face. And when people try to hit, in their mind, they're trying to hit the ball low. We tend to get, I know you talk about getting to your left side, we tend to get to our left side better, and our wrists tend to be more kind of on that bias. And you just want to kind of train your wrists. These are good wrists for golf. This bias, these are not good wrists for golf. Those are really bad wrists for golf. Okay, the other miss you had was kind of where you hit a lot of pull shots, and some of them were kind of pull fades. The biggest thing I saw is in the backswing, your weight moved out a lot towards your toes, and then in the downswing, we saw a lot of kind of coming up out of our posture, and the angle that the shaft was coming down was a little too steep. And so what I would kind of contend is that as you go back and your weight moves to your toes, it just kind of steepened the whole plane. The whole plane kind of shifted that way just a little bit, just enough to where you were pulling it and saw it a little bit worse with your driver as well. So the drill that I would do, there's a couple, but when you hit balls, I would put something under your heels. And so I want something that kind of pushes you into that out on your toes, so you learn to kind of sit into that right hip, so you learn to work against that. All right, so with this behind my heels, if I do even a little bit out to my toes, I'll fall over. All right, and so you can hit balls with that under there, just kind of wedge shots. But when you do this, you'll feel like your weight at the top is more on the flat of that right foot, and you're not out towards your toes. And then when you kick it away, you'll really get the sensation of being more solid on that back foot and not where you're out on the toes. And I really think that'll help with kind of the direction the club's traveling through impact. The other drill that you can do on that, we talked about kind of getting up against a wall, where you get your golf posture, just kind of backing into a wall and making sure that your right hip's on the wall and then your left hip's on the wall. So kind of right hip, left hip, and just getting the feel of keeping your hips deep through impact. But all in all, really good, really athletic. And just let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.